Thank you, Professor Brian Schmidt, the ANU Vice Chancellor. Thank you for the very generous introduction. It is indeed a pleasure and honor for me to get back to Canberra. It's been a while since the last time I visited Canberra. Allow me to mention a few names here. First is Professor Greg Philly, your old friends, and great to see you here again. Professor Helen Sullivan, Dean of ANU College of Asia and the Pacific, as well as Ibu Eve Waberton, and all the participants who are coming to this annual SD Lee lecture here. Pak Hol Hill, hello Pak Hol. Good to see you. I translated his book, so I remember Pak Hol Hill. Yeah. I was still a student at Gajah Mada University when the book about Indonesian economy was out. Anyway, it's good to be back, and I usually came during the Indonesia update session, usually in September. And the last time I came, we were actually discussing the Indonesia Mengajar project at that time. If I'm not mistaken, it was 2012 or 2011, 2012. And we truly benefited from the exchanges at that time. This time, I'm back, and thanks to DFAT for having the invite to visit Australia, and had the opportunity to visit the ANU as well. And this evening, I've been asked to talk about how democracy delivers. And it is reflections on the case of Indonesia. But if I may also refocus the subject, not only so much on the case of Indonesia, but also on the case of Jakarta. This is an issue that we have been working closely, and I thought of interest to all of us to ensure that democracy can deliver. People's expectations about what government can do and what government should do is quite high nowadays, especially with transparencies, openness of informations, and there is that widespread beliefs that an elected leaders in a democratic process should be able to deliver what is expected in the public. And we often hear during elections, what are the promises, what are the visions. And I think those are important. And I think Indonesia, having free elections since 1999, we have had enough set of period or data to say whether or not we're able to deliver. Generally, we're able to deliver, but I'll explain to you later why it is crucial to make a breakthrough on that aspect. If I may use not a PowerPoint, but the Apple iTV, I believe. Is it working? Not yet. Okay. As we waited for that. Ini Pak. Let me give you the context. Why, in the discussions of how democracy delivers, there's two big bodies on this issue. One is bureaucracy that has been there for many, many years, and they have been serving series of leaders, and they have the ability to always adjust to the new leaders who are coming in. And sometimes the bureaucracy have ways to adjust to the newness that is brought in by newly elected leaders. So on the one hand, you have bureaucracy. On the other hand, you have a democratic process that produces new leaders, be it mayor, be it governor, be it president or region. So this electoral process and bureaucratic process what I've been observing is there's something missing in between. And our reform in the past 25 years focused so much on the democratic aspect of that, and not so much on the bureaucratic structure to accommodate political change. Give you one simple illustration. Scheduling, for example. Our election is designed to elect leaders and then to lead government, to lead bureaucracy. The budget cycles in the bureaucracy does not fit with the electoral cycles of our political process. To give you one illustration, a president in Indonesia is elected, like last time in 2014, for example. Pak Jokowi was elected and inaugurated in October 2014. The president, the sitting president, Pak Yudhoyono, submitted the budget for 2015 in August, 2 months before Pak Jokowi inaugurated. And he was already elected in July, actually. So can you imagine, he was elected in July, will be president start in October, and then the sitting president submitted budget in August for the January 2015. So the newly elected president budget plan were actually reflected in the year of 2016. That cycles actually is a problem. Of course, there is budget APBN perubahan. Apa ya? How do I say this perubahan in English? Revisions. But you can only do so much on that revisions. So this is just one example how our bureaucracy and budget cycles and political process were not designed to link. And you can see similar cases at the local level. Like my case, for example, I was inaugurated in October, same, just few days in terms of difference with the president. And yet, when I started my job, the budget has been in discussion and almost all approved. So I can only start in the following year. So that's one example. The second issue is this. In the bureaucracy, there's only single track, that is career bureaucrats. You entered office, for example, I become governor, so I enter office. Everyone who works in the bureaucracy is people who have been working for the previous governors for 20 to 30 years, and they have served numerous governors. They have been doing things the way they like to do for so many years. And you're coming in with idea of change, okay? And then you're not having the authority to basically bring in people that you know will be able to deliver and understand what has been in the campaign promises. So it is an interesting situation. You enter office, you're the only person that is new. So you enter office as new governors, and you're the only person who is new. The rest has been there for so many years, and you're talking, I have these campaign promises. Please deliver. And everyone, yes, sir, we'll deliver. Okay? And then what are the promises? These are the list of promises. Can you imagine campaign promises being given to bureaucracy that have been doing things, the same things for so many years, and expect bureaucracy to make that change immediately? That's tough. Imagine at the national level, I'm managing Jakarta, and Jakarta has 180,000 employees. 60,000 employees were state employees called ASN, And the 120,000 employees were non-state employee, but employee of Jakarta. So 180,000. And the budget is around 80 trillion rupiah. So you have that much resources, you have 180,000 people to manage, and you have 11 million populations you have to take care. And then you enter office on your own. You bring in, you think you're going to bring in newness. That is a big challenge. And I can tell you that is being experienced by all locally elected leaders, be it mayors, be it region or governors across Indonesia. Now, allow me to share our experience. How do I deal with this? How do we go about this? So I sort of make this simple equations. There is this electoral process which is happening, and it produced leaders. I had 23 campaign promises, and then I'm facing bureaucracy. I translate it into 75 programs and translate it into 280 activities with a budget of plus minus 80 trillion rupiah. How do we go about this? So I started having comparative assessment. This is done before I started the job. As soon as we won the elections, we established a team called Tim Sinkronisasi, a synchronizing team. Or at the national level, it used to be called transition team. What does it do? It translated campaign promises into programs, and those programs translated into activities so that it is something understandably easy by the bureaucracy to adopt. Translating that needs a unit, and it is called Governor's Delivery Unit. Okay, and I think in many countries you have examples of similar to this. So we did studies on where are delivery units across the globe that has been practiced, which are best for us to reflect. And we are seeing quite a few in Europe. There are the case of Albania, Romania, Serbia, and UK, and we adopted the UK model in the Prime Minister Delivery Unit. And we adopted that. In Asia, there's quite a few too. In Brunei, in India, Indonesia used to have UKP4 in the past. And then in Malaysia, in Pakistan, and all other places. But anyway, so we established what is called delivery unit, often famously known as TGUPP. Tim Gubernur untuk Percepatan Pembangunan. And this delivery unit is the one that translated all campaign promises into programs, into activities, so that it can be easily inserted into programs at various different departments and bodies across Jakarta government. So this is the government delivery unit at in UK, Tony Blair Prime Minister Delivery Units. That was our model when we refer in the process of development. And just a minute. There we go. So we are trying to make sure that campaign promises is not forgotten by the leader itself, and not forgotten by the general public, and not gone in the bureaucracy. Because the bureaucracy has already had so many existing programs. So we want to make sure it is happening. So the way it works is we translated our promise into perjanjian kerja, performance, key performance indicators, all of them. And everyone in our bureaucracy, the first echelon, second echelon, they're signing a contract with the governors. These are things that you have to deliver. These are things that you have to undertake. And this is the one. This is one example. And we have 78 issues in there. And then these are translated into activities that is being monitored on monthly basis. So every month they're being monitored, and when they, our bureaucrats in Jakarta, when they hear F8K, Form 8K, they know exactly this is a monitoring system established to ensure that the work is delivered. And this is by no means as a sort of a threatening, but it is more like let's do it in a collaborative way. And it is linked to their monthly take-home pay. So you have to deliver. If you don't deliver, there is the reductions in terms of take-home pay. Not salary, because the salary, we cannot adjust the salary. But in Indonesia, you have salary and then you have tunjangan kinerja. The name itself says kinerja, which is performance. So it's performance-based income or bonuses. If you don't deliver, why should the people pay that much? So there is that adjustment needs to be made. And then we built an achievement monitoring tools that we are able to see what percentage of our project or our programs is being completed, how many were not in target, how many were not reporting, and all of that. So this is created in order to make sure that all campaign promises were delivered. And I can provide a testimony to you that so many of us who are in office don't have the tools, don't have the means, don't have the capacity to monitor whether our campaign promises are being delivered or not. And it is an issue in our democracy. If we don't provide this kind of approach, we may be relying simply on creating positive public perceptions about the leadership, but not on truly addressing issues in a technocratic way. And I think we need to make sure that our democracy is really delivering a project, delivering goods that is in the interest, and also that was promised during the campaign. This is just one illustration that I would like to share. This is being discussed within our office, that all of these programs in Jakarta. So usually the public discuss this issue. This is an issue that have political impact, and this is the issue that have development impact. This is an area that usually people talk about, okay? And then we have also things that is important for development, but people don't talk about it. I'll give you example, the reform in educations, the performance managements, the meritocratic system, or the organizational culture, the early educations. These are all important issues for development, but the public is less attention given. So we created this quadrant. We put issues depending on how high is the political impact and how big is the term of development impact. And what we like to do is we like to address all of this, all. If we don't create this kind of matrix and we don't provide instrument in terms of ensuring it is being delivered, you know what may happen? There are so many things were not on this diagram will be forgotten, because we tend to pay more attention on the issues that general public cares about, despite the fact it is important or not important, and would like to address is all of them. So we adopted this approach, and with that, we're happy to, if I may share with you that in 4 years, we're able to do major reforms on several areas. Give you one example in the area of infrastructure for mobility, for example. Jakarta has many challenges, and if you do survey to the public survey on issues that matters to you, there are two clusters. One is household issues, and two is public conversation, issues that matters in the public conversation. In the public conversations, issue that matters is one, flood. Two, traffic congestions. Three, disparities or social cohesion. But at the family level, issue that matters, one is cost of living. Number two, health services. Number three, education. So there is this mismatch about what public talk about and what family would like to see in terms of change. And we in government could not just address one or the other. We need to address all of them. So I'll give you one example with regard to cost of living. Cost of living in Jakarta is high, and if we break down cost of living into several components, then the components can be linked to the issue of the public. This is cost of living. This include, majority is mobility, food, housing, those are the basic, and etc. And then, on the other hand, we have the issue of traffic congestions. And when we try to solve these two, let's look at mobility. The cost of mobility in Jakarta could reach up to 30% of family spending. So if you have two kids, and you have to do you have to take them to schools, you have to take them to work, and that would cost up to 30%. On the other hand, traffic in Jakarta, we have 11 million motorcycles. We have 3 million four-wheelers. So you can imagine, because everyone is taking their own motorcycles, everyone is driving their own car, then we have traffic congestions, and at the family level, you have high spending for transportations. So our breakthrough was to create public transport. Not so much create in terms of new public transport, but to integrate public transport. And to do this, it is not possible for the governors to do it alone. That delivery unit matters a lot in the executions of that idea. The idea is, for so many years, government have not been providing facility for mobility in the city. We let our citizen to purchase their car, to purchase their motorcycles. We are giving easy credit opportunities, so you can finance it on your own. But we're not providing the public transport. And what we do is we're converting that. So for that, what we're doing is expand the BRT system, integrate all mode of transportations into an integrated system, which is called Jaklingko, and that anyone can go from one place to another within our city in one payment. So 10,000 rupiah, you can go anywhere and you can transfer anywhere within 3 hours. And when we did that, in the early 2018, within 2 years, daily riderships of our public transport increased from 350,000 to 1 million per day. Tripled in 2 years. We hope this trend to continue because Jakarta needs to have around 4 million people taking public transport in order to have better traffic management in our city. So far, we have reached 1 million people per day for our daily ridership. And with that approach, we are seeing reductions of family spending. We want to make family spending for mobility go as low as 8%, from 30% to 8%. And that is our target at the family level. And at the macro level, we have been seeing reductions of traffic congestions. Jakarta, according to TomTom Traffic Index, was ranked third most congested city in the year 2017. And then we dropped to number 7, and then we dropped to number 10. On the top 10, and every ranking is good, except traffic congestion. I mean, you don't want to be on top 10 on top on traffic congestion. So we want to get out of that top 10. So we're able to reach number 34, and last year we were number 46. So we dropped from number 3 in terms of most congested city, dropped to number 46. And daily ridership tripled. And then coverage of public transport, it used to be around 40% in Jakarta, now it's 90%. And now you can take microbuses anywhere, and it is integrated with the BRT, integrated with the MRT. Now, how that were done? It was done because there is this delivery unit that is monitoring the work every week and providing assessment every month. Without that, this process could never happen because it requires detailed work to have that delivered. And I must say, the process is not simple. That when I had the first meeting with all public transport operators, which has been there for so many years, it was one of the most heated meetings I ever attended with the operators of our public transport, the Kopaja, the Metro Mini operators, and all of that. And then we invite them to work together. The negotiations takes more than 6 months, more than 70 meetings of negotiations with all operators. And that could never happen if we only relied on the bureaucrats to do it. So we have to work together. So the Governor's Delivery Unit, the TGUPP, was instrumental in ensuring the process is going on the right directions and achieving the target. So from these examples, if I may share, that political process does not automatically translate it into bureaucratic process. You have to have a bridge to actually ensure that all political promises translated into technocratic program, and that technocratic program can be executed by the bureaucracy. So the execution is at the bureaucracy level. Now, with that, we're happy to see that so many programs, so many promises in Jakarta were able to be delivered. Not because of anything, but because the system was created to deliver. If we didn't do that, it would be very difficult to make adjustment in our budget. It would be very difficult to adopt new program because there is no way one person in government, the governors, simply giving list of programs and then the bureaucracy immediately translate it into program. It won't work that way. And I think this is what is missing in our bureaucratic reform, that we have not made adjustment in the bureaucracy. We have not provide avenue for democratic promises, for democratic processes to be adopted in the delivery by the bureaucracy. So With that, let me give you one illustrations about the works that was done by the PDU just a minute. Here we go. There are three. So this is my message to the delivery units. Number one is, oh, hold on a minute. Okay. Number one is with regard to vision alignment. Number two, strategic response, and stakeholders management. So this is the most important aspect. Aligning governors and bureaucratic visions into one, and then bridging bureaucrats with the governors. And ask more and less tell. So listen, ask questions rather than give instructions. So with that, we're able to see many of our promises were delivered. So this is a book in which we outline detailed achievements in terms of campaign promises into real delivery at the city level. And I do things that if we are serious in making sure democracy works, it is important to build that bridge. And Jakarta can serve as an example. And I'm actually inviting a researcher to do that. And now many mayors, head of regions, governors were coming to Jakarta to learn how can we create a delivery unit that is truly functional. To give you an illustration about the delivery unit, we have 57 people working in the delivery unit. With me is Pak Amin. Pak Amin, you can raise. This is Pak Amin Subakti. He is the chairman of the delivery unit. Previously, he was the deputy director of BRR, the Aceh Reconstruction Project. And then he works as director to state-owned enterprise PLN. And then I recruited him to work. And the design for this delivery units and also the KPI, I recruited someone from PwC, a director that focuses on organizational change, on performance indicators measurement. So we recruited true professionals from PwC to actually work for us and full-time to translate all these campaign promises into measurable project programs. And all these 57 people who are working for us in the government of Jakarta, I can say almost all of them were technocratic oriented. Almost all of them have a professional background and they could easily get a job in the marketplace. But they decided to work for government for these purposes. And we're happy to see this maybe as a model. So allow me to end it here, and I'm happy to entertain any questions you may have. But again, the idea is, in a country like Indonesia, where the hope for democracy is very high, the expectations for elected officials is very high, if we don't have the means to translate that into bureaucratic process, then promises could be forgotten, and that we will not be able to be counted, to be taken accountable for many of those promises if we don't have the means to translate that into actions. Thank you.
Ya, ini kita sudah saksikan Pak Anies Baswedan menyampaikan sebuah gagasan di Australia, dan itu membuat para hadirin terhipnotis dan terkesima terhadap apa yang disampaikan Pak Anies tentang mensejahterakan rakyat di negara demokrasi. Dan tentu pengalaman Pak Anies ini yang dibagi di depan forum internasional memang terlihat Pak Anies sangat menguasai, tidak ada ekspresi canggung berbicara di forum-forum internasional dengan bahasa Inggris yang sangat fasih, menunjukkan sebuah kualitas kepemimpinan, menunjukkan wawasan intelektual yang begitu luas dan mengalir seperti tanpa batas, dan itu di sini kita menyaksikan begitu pentingnya Pak Anies sampai di kampus Australia ini diminta untuk berbagi pengalaman dan untuk diadopsi gagasan-gagasannya, ide-idenya, narasi-narasinya yang tentu menjadi inspirasi ke depannya bagi pemangku kebijakan di Australia itu sendiri. Dan Masya Allah, Pak Anies menunjukkan seorang pemimpin yang memang cukup membanggakan, cukup dengan kualitasnya, dengan kapasitasnya yang menguasai tema-tema besar sekalipun, sehingga mampu berbagi di level internasional terhadap isu-isu terkini, terhadap isu-isu apa yang dibutuhkan dunia ke depan. Dan gagasan yang disampaikan Pak Anies ini tentu adalah hal yang beliau juga sudah lakukan selama menjabat sebagai Gubernur Jakarta. Tentu menjadi pemimpin di kota yang sebesar Jakarta yang sangat kompleks itu adalah sebuah pengalaman yang jika dibandingkan dengan beberapa negara itu sudah selevel dengan Jakarta dengan kepala pemerintahan di sebuah negara, sehingga itulah kualitas Pak Anies Baswedan tunjukkan di depan dunia bahwa orang Indonesia punya gagasan solusi alternatif bagi masa depan dunia, bagi masa depan demokrasi. Sekian.